This is the Catch-Up Network.
When governments seize $15 billion in Bitcoin from criminal operations, it's actually a testament to the immutable nature of blockchain technology. Every transaction leaves a permanent trail that traditional cash schemes can't match. This massive seizure from a Cambodian-based fraud network shows how Bitcoin's transparency ultimately works against bad actors, even when they think they're operating in the shadows. The real story here isn't just about justice served, but how decentralized money creates accountability that centralized systems often can't deliver.
The Department of Justice has indicted 38-year-old Chinese national Chen Ji for wire fraud and money laundering conspiracy and labeled its conglomerate of companies based out of Cambodia called the Prince Group as a transnational criminal organization. The government seized 127,000 Bitcoin from Chen's accounts, worth $15 billion at the time, much of it received from unsuspecting American victims.
If you can grab 15 billion of this, then how much has gone through that man's wallet? How much has he stolen if we were able to take back 15 billion?
Cyber scam investigator Aaron West is very familiar with Chen Ji and his operations. The attorney retired from Santa Clara County's fraud unit and launched her nonprofit Shamrock to help victims. West visited one of Chen's compounds in Cambodia earlier this year.
They're filled. These whole dormitories are filled with people. You can see their laundry. You can see them inside. But there's no cars because nobody's going anywhere.
They're being held there.
They're being held captive. This is modern day slavery. These are people that are being held against their will and being forced to scam 16 hours a day.
The cyber scam compound is disguised as an apartment building, even advertising rentals.
I wanted to ask someone about renting an apartment.
West and her journalist friends approach the guard.
Over here.
Oh, you rent an apartment?
Yeah.
So this one is what business?
No.
What's inside here?
Chen employed violence to keep the workers in line, the indictment saying he kept photographs depicting some of his methods. The complaint also includes a picture of a rack with thousands of cell phones.
Sending out contact after contact, and once there's a communication, once somebody wants to talk, then that gets forwarded to a regular person to continue that communication.
Then the process called pig butchering begins, in which the scammer grooms a victim over days, weeks, or months.
A typical romance scam. And then after that, we will have shown you all along that the person you think you're in love with is a wealthy person. And ultimately we'll say, well, do you know why I'm so wealthy? It's because I invest in cryptocurrency. And I'll teach you how to do that.
Last year, West also visited a cyber fraud compound that had been busted in the Philippines.
It's more than 35 buildings and was designed and built for the sole purpose of scamming.
She toured the opulent boss's quarters with bill counters, the massive pool, the luxury cars, a Maybach, and armor-plated Range Rover. And she saw the torture room for the human trafficked workers.
To chain them up. Then after chaining them up, you beat them up.
While the bust in Cambodia is a good step with that record $15 billion haul, West cautions victims here about getting their hopes up for seeing their money again.
This is a federal case. It will go through the legal system, and I don't think it's clear right now exactly who will be getting that money.
The investigations move forward. The indictment says Chen Ji operated dozens of business entities in more than 30 countries and that he paid bribes to foreign public officials.
The $15 billion Bitcoin seizure from Chen Xi's operation reveals something the DOJ press release glossed over. This represents one of the largest concentrations of Bitcoin ever held by a single criminal enterprise, suggesting these pig butchering scams have been systematically accumulating Bitcoin at institutional scale. The Cambodia-based operation's use of forced labor to execute romance scams demonstrates how cryptocurrency has become the preferred rails for transnational organized crime, precisely because Bitcoin's pseudonymous nature initially made it harder for authorities to trace flows across jurisdictions. What makes this case particularly significant is that investigators were able to seize the Bitcoin before it was mixed or moved through privacy coins, indicating either sophisticated blockchain analysis or cooperation from exchanges. The scope of Chen Xi's network spanning 30 countries with dozens of business entities suggests these operations have evolved beyond simple scams into complex financial crime syndicates that rival traditional money laundering operations. For Bitcoin markets, this seizure creates an interesting dynamic over the next few months as the government decides whether to auction these coins or hold them as evidence during prosecution. Historically, large government Bitcoin auctions have created temporary selling pressure, but the timing coincides with growing institutional adoption that could absorb the supply more easily than in previous cycles. The contrarian angle here is that these seizures actually validate Bitcoin's transparency rather than undermining it. Traditional banking would have made tracing these flows nearly impossible across multiple jurisdictions. However, the human trafficking element adds regulatory risk, as lawmakers may push for additional compliance requirements on exchanges and wallet providers to prevent similar operations from scaling. Watch for how quickly the DOJ moves to auction these coins, and whether they coordinate with other agencies to avoid market disruption. Their approach could signal how seriously they take Bitcoin's role in the broader financial system. That's your bite. Stay curious. Thanks for watching. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe below. But don't stop there. Start making videos like this for your own channel. Click the link in our bio to get started.